Imagine a machine that does not need your secrets. It only needs your pauses, the extra second before you tap buy, the late night scroll through camping gear after a rough week, the way you hover over one headline, skip another, then come back. That machine does not argue. It does not blink. It simply waits, gathers, and arranges your tiny betrayals into a portrait. And the unnerving bit? Sometimes it can guess what you want before you've admitted it to yourself. Bit rude, really. Like a butler who knows you're reaching for the whiskey before you do. Right, so let's get our boots on. Recommender systems, ad platforms, and now language model products don't just respond to what you say outright. They learn from the crumbs, clicks, dwell time, scroll speed, whether you open a message and ignore it, whether you type a question, delete it, then type a softer version. Those are behavioral signals, tiny things, harmless looking things, but stack enough of them together and they become a pattern. And patterns are where modern AI earns its keep. Streaming platforms do this with taste. Shops do it with intent. Social apps do it with attention. A chatbot can do it with phrasing, timing, and repeated themes. You mention burnout 3 times across separate conversations, ask for meal plans, then compare running shoes. The system may not feel your stress, not in any human sense, but it can cluster you with people whose next move was a gym membership, a meditation app, or a very expensive blender. That's not mind reading, that's probability in a nice suit. And yes, recent research keeps reinforcing the same basic point. Personality and preference leak everywhere. Psychologists and computer scientists have shown for years that digital traces can predict traits with surprising accuracy. What's changed by 2024 and beyond is scale, speed, and integration. Platforms now fuse browsing history, purchase behavior, location habits, device data, and social interaction into ever more dynamic profiles. Some studies suggest models can infer stable tendencies like impulsivity, political leaning, or mood vulnerability from patterns that look laughably trivial on their own. Terrible analogy, but it's like reading tire marks instead of meeting the driver. You still learn where the car's likely heading. The spooky bit is this. Preference is not always fully conscious. People often construct reasons after the fact. Behavioral science has been banging on about that for ages. AI systems exploit the same gap without necessarily understanding it. If you linger on minimalist furniture after searching for moving tips, the platform needn't know your inner life. It only needs to know that people shaped like your data often buy a lamp, then a rug, then start reading about routines and reinvention. 1 minute you're pricing a bookshelf, next minute the machine's nudging you toward a whole new personality. Flat-pack destiny. So when people say, my phone is listening, sometimes what they mean is stranger. It may not need to listen at all. Your hesitations are already eloquent. Your contradictions are data. And the machine, patient as a croc in muddy water, is learning which version of you tends to win. Prediction by itself is just bookkeeping with ambition. The real game begins when prediction turns into steering. That's where digital phenotyping enters, and yep, even saying it feels a bit like I'm dropping a spanner in the shed. Digital phenotyping is the use of data from phones, wearables, keyboards, movement, sleep, voice, and app habits to infer psychological or health-related states. Researchers have explored it for depression, stress, cognitive decline, even relapse risk. Useful? Potentially, absolutely. But usefulness is not innocence. Because once a system can estimate how tired, lonely, anxious, or reward-seeking you might be, it can do more than observe. It can time the nudge. Emotional inference works similarly. Companies and researchers have tried to infer affect from facial cues, voice tone, typing rhythm, language, and context signals. By 2024, plenty of experts were pushing back hard on exaggerated claims here, especially around face-based emotion detection. Fair enough, too. A furrowed brow could mean anger, concentration, sunlight, indigestion, who knows? But even weak emotion signals can still be commercially useful when mixed with context. If you sound frustrated, have been searching refunds, and it's 11:40 p.m., the system doesn't need perfect insight. It just needs a decent guess about what will keep you engaged or compliant. That is the business model problem. In surveillance capitalism critiques, the concern is not merely that companies know a lot, it's that they profit by turning human experience into behavioral surplus, then using prediction to shape future behavior. Not always through some dramatic hypnosis beam, usually through softer architecture, ranking, defaults, friction, urgency cues, endless optimization. The feed learns what hooks you, then feeds you more of whatever version of you is easiest to hold in place. And there's a nasty little feedback loop in that. If the system predicts you like outrage, it shows outrage. You engage, so it becomes more certain. If it predicts you're vulnerable to impulsive spending, it tests offers when your guard is low. If it predicts you're politically persuadable, it adjusts the tone, the timing, the repetition. Over time, convenience and influence blur together. Your map app gets better. Your music app gets eerily good. Your shopping app helps. And all the while, you become more legible, more modelable, more steerable, smooth as silk, costly as hell. Now, to be fair, personalization is not some cartoon villain twirling a mustache. It reduces overload. It can surface relevant health prompts, accessibility features, safer routes, better recommendations. I'd be a dill to deny that. But the hidden tariff is autonomy. When systems are tuned for engagement, retention, conversion, or compliance, they don't just serve preferences, they can train them. A system that learns how to keep your attention is, in a quiet way, rehearsing how to shape your future choices. Not perfectly, not always maliciously, but persistently. And persistence, mate, is where power gets its claws in. Here's the twist in the blade. These systems can know your patterns without knowing you. That distinction matters more than the marketing brochures would like. AI is brilliant at correlation, ranking, compression, next best guesswork. It can often predict what sort of thing you'll do. But meaning? Meaning is slippery. A person revisiting old songs might be grieving, celebrating, procrastinating, or just cleaning the house. Same behavior, different world inside it. That's why so many current experts remain skeptical of grand claims about machine understanding, especially in emotion recognition and personality inference. Performance can look impressive in narrow datasets, then wobble badly in the mess of real life. Context shifts, cultures differ, people mask, people perform, people change. Language models, for all their elegance, often generate the appearance of empathy by mirroring patterns in text, not by possessing a lived point of view. Useful, yes, sometimes startlingly so, but there's a difference between producing the right sentence and sharing the right stake in the world. And selfhood is not just a bundle of measurable outputs. It includes conflict, aspiration, private symbolism, the stories we tell to make a life hang together. I might search for motorbike parts at midnight, not because I'm likely to buy them, but because restoring an old trail bike reminds me of home, of Newcastle, of being 15 and thinking the world was a busted carburetor you could fix with patience. Bit sentimental there. Leave it in. The point is, behavior can be a trace of meaning without containing the meaning itself. Humans also grow by violating prediction. We become ourselves partly by surprising the version of us that yesterday seemed inevitable. We quit, convert, forgive, relapse, begin again. fall in love with the wrong person, read the odd book that rearranges the furniture upstairs. Models don't like that sort of thing. They prefer continuity, statistical regularity, but a decent life sometimes requires disobedience toward your own past data. So I wouldn't say the answer is to flee every personalized system and live in a cave with a hand-crank radio. I'd say the challenge is sharper than that. Notice when convenience becomes choreography. Ask which parts of you are being measured and which are being neglected because they can't be monetized. Protect pockets of untracked thought. Make choices that are not optimized for anyone else's dashboard. Be a little less available to prediction. Because self-knowledge, real self-knowledge, is not a neat profile assembled from clicks. It's a struggle, a negotiation, sometimes a scrap in the dirt. And in a world full of systems designed to anticipate you, there is something quietly defiant about remaining interpretable only in part. Anyway, that's enough elegant paranoia from me for one episode. Next time, we'll keep prying at the machinery. Till then, watch your pauses. They may be telling on you.